Highgate. He's got a new book coming out shortly on Donald Trump. All right, let's talk about this, can we? The thing that you've been focusing on for the last year and a half is coming front and center, and so is Robert Mueller. He evidently has agreed tentatively to come May 15th in front of the House Judiciary Committee. On the Senate side, it doesn't look like Lindsey Graham has much interest, and the president says, I don't really think he should be coming. What do you think about May 15th? Are you intrigued to hear from him?
I am, and I'll tell you, Brian, I think this is going to blow up spectacularly in the Democrats' faces. There are two key questions Republicans should ask of Mueller here. The first should be, when exactly did you conclude via your investigation that collusion was a hoax? The answer is going to be telling, because remember, Brian, his first hire, Bob Mueller, on his team is Andrew Weissman, a Department of Justice lawyer who had already been briefed about the provenance of the dossier, where it came from. So if he knew it was a political document, when precisely did he tell Mueller this? The second key question is, why is your report so light on the details about Joseph Mifsud? If Joseph Mifsud is connected to the Russians and told George Papadopoulos, a Trump team member, allegedly about Russian information on the Democrats and Hillary, then why is your report so light on details about him? And I believe the answer is because Joseph Mifsud was not, in fact, working with the Russians, but was connected to Western intelligence, in other words, friendlies instead.
He's got no Russian connections. Yeah. Zero.
I also hope, Dan, that somebody on the committee asks Mr. Mueller, hey, by the way, who wrote that letter that you sent to Bob Barr? Because, their conversation on the phone was very cordial, but the letter was, as Mr. Barr said, a little snitty.
Yeah, there seems to be some significant cognitive dissonance here. Mueller tells, Barr's already admitted they're friends, right? Bill Barr, I'm not putting words in his mouth, that Mueller called him. He said the letter wasn't inaccurate, but they were concerned a bit about the media coverage. So, yeah, you're right. That is a good, well, who on your team then was so concerned? Yeah. And why didn't you just pick up the phone rather than putting it down on paper? The answer is obvious. They wanted the letter leaked to make Barr look bad.
Dan, the president says he wasn't going to interfere whether or not Mueller was going to testify or not. He just sent out this tweet. He said, also, there are no high crimes and misdemeanors, no collusion, no conspiracy, no obstruction. All the crimes are on the other side, and that's what the Dems should be looking at, but they won't. Nevertheless, the tables are turning. What's your reaction?
It's funny, Ainsley. The left wants to paint Trump as this out-of-control guy who obstructs at every turn. Yet he never actually obstructs anything. It's like, listen, the president doesn't want Mueller, because, of course, I wouldn't want Mueller up there either. I mean, he investigated the guy for a hoax for 2 years, but he's done nothing to stop him at all. I mean, The president actually asked Jim Comey in the Oval Office to investigate people in his satellites, if they were involved in this. Andy McCabe said there was no effort to obstruct. So I think the president's handling this great, but he's entitled to his opinion like anyone else.
But so you want